As of October this year, President Donald Trump has been indicted on 4 separate occasions. In August 2023, we saw the first presidential mugshot in US history when Trump was indicted at Fulton County Jail in Georgia. This legal issue stems from the 2020 presidential elections, which Trump lost in the state of Georgia. However, he's being indicted on 41 counts for alleged attempts to overturn the loss in the state. In a phone call recording, the former president is heard to ask election officials to find the votes needed for him to win the state. There are 41 counts, 13 of which are criminal and include conspiracy to commit forgery, conspiring to commit false statements, and solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. The different counts carry a range of jail time penalties, including a maximum of 20 years if found guilty of racketeering. The former president has pleaded not guilty to all the charges and has repeatedly stated that this is part of a political witch hunt against him. Although there has been no date set yet for this court hearing, Trump will potentially be in court facing these charges during the primary season for the 2024 election. With his consistent message of political witch hunts, it remains to be seen if this will impact his election in a positive or a negative way. In August of this year, the former president was also charged in a Washington, D.C. court on federal charges to overturn the 2020 election results, and also for the incitement of the 6th of January Capitol Hill riots, which saw Trump supporters storm the Capitol building. The trial for this case is set for March 2024. However, it is likely that Trump's defense will lean heavily on the First Amendment's right for free speech, to argue that although Trump was in the Capitol that day, he did not directly call for the riots and therefore is not responsible for what ensued. Again, Trump has been clear this is a political issue and that he is being barred from running for president again by the Democrats and the Washington establishment. The former president has 2 more ongoing cases against him. One in New York, in which he faces over 34 felony charges relating to his alleged payments of hush money to former lover Stormy Daniels, and another in Florida, where he is accused of having classified documents in his Mar-a-Lago home. However, more recently, he's appeared in court in New York on civil charges of fraud. He and other executives in the Trump Organization are accused of conspiring to inflate his net worth in order to secure loans and make further business dealings. Trump has continuously spoken out publicly, and he's been subjected to a gag order for this case, and has been fined $5,000 for his criticism of the procedures and the officials overseeing the case. President Trump has been subject to a number of gag orders over his criminal charges. A federal judge has recently continued a gag order for the president to discuss the charges against him for attempting to overthrow the 2020 election results, following Trump's repeated criticisms of the courts and for calling the judge Trump-hating. The continued social media commentary by Trump has allowed him to garner support throughout the processes and has elicited fines for the former president. Trump does not win the accolade of the first president to be arrested. This honor goes to former President Ulysses S. Grant, who was arrested in 1872 for speeding on a horse and buggy. However, Trump is the first former president to face criminal charges. If he is found guilty of any of the charges being levied against him, he can still run for president. The US Constitution sets out an age limit for the president. They must be over 35. They must also have been born in the United States and have lived there for over 14 years. But importantly, the Constitution does not set out stipulations of a person's character, including a criminal record. The Constitution also makes no mention of whether a president could lead the country from jail. Therefore, even if Trump is given jail time for any of the indictments he's facing, this will not automatically bar him from holding the office. If Trump does win the 2024 election, he will also have the executive power to pardon himself, should any convictions be awarded to him. As the executive-in-chief of the Justice Department, he would also have the potential to throw out any court proceedings against him. Should President Trump be charged with any of the felonies against him, he will be discounted from voting himself. However, there's nothing in the Constitution that will bar him from being on the ballot. Just this week, Trump appeared in court in New York for the civil trial. Now, the judge has already ruled that Trump, along with his sons Donald Jr. and Eric, did commit fraud. However, this trial is to decide on the penalties. Now, this week, Trump was reprimanded by the judge for making political speeches instead of answering the questions posed to him. Trump said in court there were political operatives at work against him, and he questioned the bias of the judge. So far, this trial has proved a perfect campaign platform for Trump, despite the judge's best efforts. Now, these are unprecedented times for the United States, and they open up potential questions around the integrity of the office of the president and the ability of the Constitution to stand up in a post-gentleman's agreement political environment. The Constitution was written in a different era. The expectations of those seeking and holding political office were different from what we are experiencing today. The ongoing media discussions on Trump's various legal issues could prove to be excellent material for his campaign, allowing him to perpetuate the notion of a political liberal witch hunt against him. As we move into the primary seasons, we're going to see how Trump balances court appearances with his heavy campaign schedule.